Welcome to Glorious Botafogo, your number one source of Botafogo news in English. Botafogo lost to Maricá today in the first official match of the year. Botafogo played with a mixture of reserves, U23 and U20 players that kind of sort of became this team that Fogo used today and that is going to be used for the first five rounds of the 2025 Carioca Championship. If you don't know what that is, in Brazil, the state tournaments serve as preseason tournaments, but they are official titles. A lot of teams put a lot of focus in these state tournaments. It's a tradition that's been happening for many decades in Brazil, and a lot of people even think that you should probably get rid of them because they just add an incredible amount of games per year. But it seems like the Rio Commission has kind of starting to realize that and decrease the amount of games that the main teams play. But at least from what I know from Botafogo, they will decrease the amount of games that the players from the first team will play because they allowed the club to use this mixture of reserves and U23 and U20 players to make up this team that will be playing the very first five rounds of this tournament. So Botafogo lost with disappointing performances from players that we know very well, right? Carlos Alberto, poor performance today. Matheus Nascimento, poor performance today. Cauê, poor performance today. Um, Goalkeeper Raul, which has been the third string goalkeeper, but now they got Chito Fernandes, has left the club, and Raul kind of took that second spot in theory to challenge John for his starting spot. Raul did not leave a very good first impression. I thought on both goals, the fault was his because that first shot, I mean, he went to try to deflect the ball just hit his hand and went in. And then the second goal was a free kick. Yes, it was close to the box. Um, but, he got scored on the side that he was covering. So he set up the wall covering the right side, and the guy took the shot to his left, and it's a shot that Hau should have saved. He's a tall goalkeeper, so he was did not have very good positioning on that free kick. I thought that he set up the wall all wrong, all weird. Not a good first impression. If Botafogo was thinking that Raul was going to be that guy, I think we are going to be screwed if John does not have a substitute that is good enough to challenge him for that spot, at least to keep him on his toes. Again, it was the first match. Anything can change. I used to criticize Junior Santos quite a bit, and I don't have to explain to you what Junior Santos means to this club now, but it was concerning. The very least, it was very concerning. But speaking of concerning, Hagini has rejected Botafogo's offer to come be the manager for this season, basically on the fact that he's well established at Club America in Mexico, and he was going to have to basically start over Botafogo. And I kind of understand that he's going to be coming with incredible pressure, right? Because Botafogo just won the Libertadores, just won the Brasileirão, and they have the World Cup of Clubs in the middle of the year. And I don't think Jahajini felt that he was prepared to take on that magnitude of a challenge. So he declined. So the club is now back. Well, the club, let me just say, John Texter is back to search, back in the search for a new manager. And he is the one that is exclusively dealing with that. John Texter and John Texter alone is doing the negotiations for managers. So the last times John did that, he made good calls. He made a good call with Castro. He made a good call with Arthur Jorge as far as names that did a good job. We came to find out in a podcast that Marçal was part of that John um, also chose Bruno Lage to be that manager, long term manager, but Bruno Lage ended up um, changing too many things too quickly and just kind of didn't sit well with the players and didn't sit well overall, which ended up leading to his demise in the club. So we will see who John Texter comes up with. I'm sure it will be a good name. Um, Laji was a good name. He just didn't understand the assignment. So now, um, also speaking of departures, it's basically official now that Chiquinho Suarez was involved in a trade negotiation with Santos. So Botafogo has basically officially signed Jair. It's not official because the club hasn't announced yet, but it's pretty set in stone. The Botafogo signed 19-year-old center back Jair from Santos. He's currently with the national team, getting ready for a competition. I think the total amount for this transfer was 12 million euros plus 2 million in bonuses, and a decrease in the amount of what Santos would have to pay for Chiquinho Suarez. So it's sad to see Chiquinho go. I think that he was a player that we could have used, honestly. But based on the ongoing negotiations that we have with other players, I understand. Chiquinho was like 33, 34. He's getting up there in age, maybe even 35. I think it's like 33. And he had a tough season. And I think his cycle in the club, um, and some people agree, some people don't, was coming to an end. But, Igor Jesus is so far staying at the club. There's talks of Fulham wanting to, or not wanting, but Fulham has put in an offer. And if they give John Texter what he wants for the player, the price that he has stipulated for that transfer, he's going to go. So it's definitely a concerning time right now because from the middle up, or let's just say from center offensive midfielder to our forwards, it's kind of all up in the air because Luis Enrique is going to get transferred out of the club. That is going to happen. We will no longer have Luis Enrique. He could go um, to Lyon, but I don't think that's going to happen. The most likely destination is going to be the Premier League. Thiago Almada has left the club officially. He said goodbye to Botafogo supporters on Instagram. Um, thanked all the supporters for everything, for all the trust that we've put in him, and he's going to be um, uh, the Botafogo gained a fan forever. So like, nothing but you know good things and praises for Thiago Almada. I wish him good luck at Lyon. Uh, and there is departures, from Carlos Eduardo, which would sometimes come on. Um, so no Luis Enrique, no Chiquinho, no Almada. Those are three big names, and maybe no Igor Jesus. That's four. So far, only Junior Santos and Savarino are staying on, and Junior Santos with proposals from Turkey and other Brazilian clubs. Um, so we will see what's going to happen. Gregory as well has proposals to leave the club. However, John Texer has set a hefty price on Gregory, and if a club wants to pay that much for a 30-year-old center mid, they can go right ahead. But it's a hefty price for a player of his age. However, not everything is, um, concerning. Botafogo has sent offers to different players, one of them being Cucho Hernandez from Columbus Crew. It's going to be a difficult negotiation. He is one of the best players in the MLS, and we saw what happened when Botafogo signed one of the best players from the MLS to come play for us with Almada, and that turned out to be good. So we will see what happens with that. Claudinho also got offered to Botafogo, and the club is trying to do the math to see if everything goes well. And Botafogo has also agreed um, on fees and salary with Marlon Gomes, a former Vasco da Gama player that got purchased, and he is now playing in Ukraine. So, as you know, of everything that's happening in Ukraine and Russia, some players like Claudinho probably want to leave the club, and Wendell as well as a player that Botafogo was talking to last season. He also has said that he wants to stay in Brazil. So there's a lot of negotiations. I want to see more names though, more names that will make a difference, like Luis Enrique, like Thiago Almada. I don't think Cucho Hernandez is that name um, just yet because he is different than both Almada and Chiquinho. So, and Luis Enrique as well. So he is just kind of he is his own player. So I want to see more names like Luis Enrique and Thiago Almada, just like Texter promised that he would sign in case of a departure. So that is all for today. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. If there is something else coming on during the week, I will do what I do and bring it out to you here during the weekend. If not, then um, we will see you after the next game, sort of a summary of what happened because I don't think anybody really cares that much for these first few matches, but it will impact on how the Carioca is going to go, right? So Botafogo lost, so maybe we're going to be fighting for the another Taça Rio thing, which is a consolation prize. So hopefully not. Hopefully we do a little bit better this year. But that's it. I'll see you guys on the next one.